both these teams here, and you really only see that kind of adaptability from top teams.
Yeah, top-notch strategies being used here for this influencer match. We can see already that they're so much more prepared than our non-pro teams were earlier today.
I mean, there is the element of experience over on the Swedish side. They have so many ex-pro players, so many experienced players in a variety. Oh, but the shoes are coming off. Hold up. The French team, they're getting comfy. They're not planning on leaving that couch. They're going the full VO3.
Yeah, it does look so comfortable up in the couch. They can just chill and relax while we're here talking about filters and the lights that are hitting them straight to the face.
I've never sat on that couch, but I kind of want to. Like, the longer we look at it and how comfortable they're getting on it. Do you think we can get one up here?
I have no idea.
I bet we could. Well, we are getting into the pick van phase. Both the teams are in the lobby. We can get into a match that, well, there's no reason not to be brutally honest. There was a lot of predictions in the favor of Sweden, and I have to agree with them. I don't see why they take it differently.
Yeah, Sweden with their former competitive experience, as well as Loda and Aka both being at the Gamescom show event for this game, definitely helps them out a bunch. So they already are familiar with the game.
Interestingly enough, the bans are really standard. First pick comes through as well. So not only you get rid of two of the most commonly banned characters, Alice for her extremely powerful support capabilities, and Murad for his incredibly effective jungle capabilities, and then you bring in very, very commonly first-picked characters. This is much more standard to the meta than the games we saw from the non-pro teams early.
Yeah, we have to consider Joker's not being picked up. Now that is a pick that we saw some of the teams utilize in their matches. And right now, looking at these picks and bans, I'm a little bit surprised. Seems like both of the teams have done their homeworks on what's strong and what they should pick. Maybe they've consulted their teams, as actually now we have a little bit of a switch up with Maganga coming out. Now that is a so interesting pick because we don't get to see that often.
Yeah, he's been very powerful when we have seen him, but he just doesn't seem to be in the meta for the vast majority of teams. So maybe yet another example of the developing game, the developing meta, and maybe another example of superior beard-based decision-making.
That could be true. That absolutely could come into fruition here. As we're gonna have to see if that beard decision-making will continue throughout the game for these influencers.
French side completes their draft, and I'm gonna be honest, that's way more standard than I would have expected. The only real upset there for me is the Maganga. Yeah,
does look pretty standard from both of these teams besides the Maganga. Now I'm having a hard time figuring out how French side is gonna lay that. Maybe they have some sneaky strategies up their sleeves. They might do a 5 people middle push straight off the bat.
You know, you joke, but we did see that yesterday during rehearsals.
Yes, we did.
So there's no reason for it not to be effective, except for the fact that it's generally not effective. But we could be pioneering a new meta here. And I'm pretty excited to see what the French bring to the table.
Back in the practice, we saw a lot of interesting things, like Turrets being the most valuable player of the team. So I'm really interested to see if the influencers are going to use that strategy and utilize those Turrets to the full effectiveness that they can have on the game.
Well, we now have fully loaded in, and so we should be able to get into game in just a moment. And I think the real story, once again, the French team, there's been some talk of maybe they played the game a bit more, but they are not the expected victors, if only because of the strength of competitive experience and MOBA experience over on the Swedish side.
Yeah, the Swedish side are looking dangerous, and we're going to have to see throughout the show if they're going to be able to perform and stand up to the standards that we are kind of comparing them to. And hopefully this one is going to go all 3 games, and it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, this is even more of a wild card than the earlier games where we had a Swedish team that had only played 2 games or so in the competitive scene. We weren't sure what to do with what they would be doing. Now this is even more of a wild card because we haven't seen either of these teams play competitive. We know that individual players on both these teams have played in a decent setup before, but I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, we have no idea what to expect here. Everything can get turned upside down in a second here in this game. So we have no idea how these teams play prior to the games we're going to see today.
Well, I can't wait to find out. We see an early push here, the entire Swedish side going very deep into the jungle, and they're hunting for an early pickoff, and they may have one. I believe that's Gonka going low. Very low.
Yeah, Forsen's gone low here, Kataga as well, and they're keeping the fight going. French side is falling lower and lower, and they have to be careful. Akka's going forward. The fight for blue buff is gonna happen. Then Gyro's being used by Kataga, but it's gonna put him in a really, really bad spot because there was 4 players surrounding him when that one ended.
Yeah, Loda, Forsen, and the rest of the Swedish side will now fall out of the jungle. They don't have that Abyssal Dragon up yet. They're doing a great job turning those kills not into objective, no, but into map control. And that's what I want to see.
Yeah, map control is so important in these games. They need to be on top of it. If you can take away the enemy turrets, there's not going to be the safety of the turret damage, which we spoke pre-game, that the turrets are sometimes the MVP of these fights.
Okay, and Orb, they got pressured there in top lane. The French making their first real aggressive plays of the match so far, and that was cleaned up pretty quickly. Loda and Daedrich, though, they've just got the Soul Dragon, so that'll give them vision into the jungle and an opportunity to punish MOBA hard.
Yeah, the Abyssal Dragon is going to come up in 8 seconds here. Now that is something we have to see how these teams react to that. We know pro teams like to just kind of gank and take that objective, but pro teams might do something differently. They might not prioritize the Abyssal Dragon as much.
Yeah, those amateur teams earlier today were locking out the Abyssal Dragon almost as soon as it came up. And we do expect that, but it's also, once again, very important to make sure that you have the space to do it. And you can do that by securing map control, by securing kills, by faking out. But we need to see one of those plays from Sweden or France before they should feel comfortable just going for the Abyssal Dragon.
Yeah, Forsen's going to go on to Spirit Sentinel. We've spoke multiple times about that objective as well. Now, if Abyssal Dragon, you lose that fight or you lose that objective, it is rather hard hitting because of the gold lead that you get off of that. As we see Akke going to go in on top, and Forsen's going to try to find a battle rank, but he missed.
He said Forsen was going in on the Abyssal Dragon. I think the Abyssal Dragon won. So, with the aim of Kenny, the Abyssal Dragon, you know, they made an alliance. Kenny came through on the Zuka and pushed Forsen away from the Abyssal Dragon. And he managed to survive the fight. Mitch, you know, to be honest, I'm not really rooting for Sweden or France. But I am really rooting for the Abyssal Dragon.
Abyssal Dragon is finally gonna find his opportunity to show himself, as it does look like the French side are gonna help him in this endeavor, as the Swedish side group up 4 people and just gank up on the Abyssal Dragon.
I'm pretty upset with that, to be honest, but the Swedes, despite their lack of honor shown fighting the Abyssal Dragon, do take a very good engagement with it. They lock out the rest of the map so that they can take it completely unhindered, and it works very well to their benefit, as now they do have a very slight gold lead and great map control.
So what you're saying is, with this Abyssal Dragon, that we should have some sort of movement, that we should buff it so it can stand up against these players.
Oh, absolutely. Orb, in the meantime, though, he's taking heavy fire in the top lane. I love RK coming in, though. Oh, that's brutal. RK comes in with the side master snap. Should go down. Orb, though, he gets a little bit too greedy, decides he can take the fight.
Orb really wanted that kill. He was chasing for such a long time. As Forsen's on the run for now, he's being focused out by Kataga, as well as Kenny there being chased in the jungle. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, we're gonna see Loda as well as Drake gonna push the turret down, so they've established some of the map control.
Look at Kenny and Gonka. They are getting really far into the Swedish jungle, and they're going to be able to pick up a decent amount of jungle camps. They might be in trouble now, though, as Gonka will be knocked down incredibly low, and he should be going down. Daedrich pops the Metamorphosis to secure this. Kenny, oh no, you should be running. Run!
Yeah, Kenny's gonna get the safety of the turret, but it's not gonna save him. He was way too low, as we saw the side of Sweden roaming with all 5 people into the middle. They're gonna pick the turret. Top lane though, Violet is gonna get the turret with Valheim as well. So the gold difference is not gonna swing that much because they trade objectives.
And that does keep both sides kind of in this game. The Swedes are continuing to do a really impressive job, actually, though, of cleaning out jungle. It's a thing a lot of the amateur teams have really been working on improving. It's just the efficiency with which they can clean out jungle. And for a Swedish roster that isn't really an official roster and hasn't played very much as a team, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, Swedish sides are really efficient right now, but they've left some of the camps up. We don't usually see that from the non-pro teams, but the Swedish side does say, we're not going to take the small camps, they don't provide as much, and they just take the big bites out of the jungle, just taking those buffs to give them the advantage they need in these team fight scenarios.
Uh-oh. Thorson had a brief exploration with the wall, but they'll now go for the Abyssal Dragon. Again, Loda comes through as well, or it's a full team there, and well, the French aren't even contesting it. They've been pushed so far back by great map control that they're not really able to find much, and poor Moman's going to get caught out.
Yeah, Moman's going to get caught out here with the 5 members of Sweden are going to come down to the bottom, and they're going to clean him up as Arthur finds himself having to respawn from base as Master Snake is gonna come through, and he's gonna fall as well. The French side lose 2 members as a turret is gonna get pushed here. Orb and the side of Sweden are looking for more. They're not gonna have any leeway for France.
Yeah, more towers go down. Again, great map control. Zerator though, he's just pushing. He's got his siege engines just working away at that tower though, so he's actually recalling back to the base. He'll play defense and allow his minion wave, which is very aggressively pushed, to begin doing damage onto the turret. And I like that. It's not going to secure them the turret right away, but if it's left unaddressed by the Swedes, it may take it down anyway.
Now, interesting note, this is shaping up to be kind of the same game that happened between Swedes and the French in the game 1 of the tournament. So what could happen is that the top lane gets pushed. Now, I'm sure the French side has told their team, you know what you should do is focus on top, just push that down the base and continue pushing until you win the game. And that's a strategy they can use, as Metamorphosis is going to come through. The French side are going to take this fight. The Will Devourer gets cancelled by the movement coming through from Guac, and then the French side are losing a lot of members. Master Snake's going to go down. Gotaka is the last member surviving. He's not going to be able to do it, as he's going to fall, and 4 members from the side of Sweden are going to survive this fight and push for those objectives.
That may very well be a brutal blow, because the French, they took a very awkward fight there. They weren't able to come out on top, and now they've just lost so much ground. They're going to lose so many towers off of this. Like, we talked kind of jokingly about it, but I genuinely think it might be a great idea for France to try and sneak a backdoor through that bot line.
Yeah, they did it in the first game between the non-pro teams, so that would definitely be a strategy that could work here. As we see France advancing forward, they're confident and they can do it. Astray, he's gonna be put to sleep here in just a second by the French side. The Crash is having a lot of difficulty escaping. Arthur's gonna give chase. Forsen's gonna come in from the side, but they cannot find the trades needed in the bottom lane. The Swedish side crumbling for now, as we have another casualty in this war. 3 people are gonna fall from the side of Sweden. We saw Ake pushing alone on the bottom side. He was unable to do major damage to the enemy base.
And that's actually quite good. I'd go as far as to say that puts France right back in the game. Sure, they're still pretty far behind in gold and kills, but they're able to get a lot of map control with that, and I'd love to see them convert that into Dark Slayer, which it looks like they're going for, or Abyssal Dragon. It looks like they're going for Dark Slayer.
Spirit Sentinel.
Or Spirit Sentinel near Dark Slayer. If they're able to get a series of objectives off of those kills, they can be right back into the game.
Yeah, it is by no means over. We can see one split push coming through in one part of the game, and it could be over in less than 30 seconds here for the side of Sweden. So we definitely have to keep our eye on the lanes that are being pushed to the high ground turret. We have to keep our eye out for the split pushes that can happen from both of these sides. As we see bottom lane, Sweden got to a split push there, And at the top lane, we could see the Friends doing the same thing.
Yeah, Datrix and Loda will be pushing together with the rest of their team, trying to come in on the side of this French team, and actually it's looking quite good as they lean into the team fight.
Yeah, Sweden's looking for a great fight right now. They're 5,000 ahead. They really want to find the fight that they're comfortable with, right? You don't want to get a fight where you might be able to pull out ahead, because there's no need to take unnecessary risk at this point. They're so far ahead, they know it. They're gonna go for Dark Slayer. Now, this is a safe option here. They've cleaned up two lanes of tier 1 and tier 2 turrets, so they have a lot of map control. And now you're gonna head into the top lane off the back of this Dark Slayer to pick up even more turrets.
Yeah, and this may very well be another fatal blow, because they have so much to work with. But look at this mid lane push. Oh, I love this. The French team, if they decide to stick with this, which unfortunately it doesn't look like they're going to do, they could have absolutely caught the Swedes off guard. Instead, they're going to recall max their base and try and prepare for a team fight.
I would have liked to see the base race coming through in this game. That was a total possibility here as Zerator. Oh, that Batman stun's not gonna happen. Zerator is gonna tactical fire away. The Swedish side are gonna give chase, but they're being split up. The French side are focusing on middle. Trey has used the ultimate. The Metamorphosis is making him so tanky. Kenny, it has to run. He's falling low. But this side of Sweden have claimed a casualty in that war. They have picked up Master Snake as he has fallen in the jungle as that Valheim. So Swedish side having the numbers advantage for now.
They do what we were praising the amateur teams for doing though, which is you do a whole bunch of damage, you have a definite advantage, rest on your laurels, make sure that you're able to convert that into a victory by playing slow, careful and safe. And now they go for a team fight. They'll annihilate Kenny and be looking for more.
Yeah, the damage coming through from the Swedish side is just so big. We've talked about a few of the times when we had Telana's picks in the tournaments as well as the qualifiers, that she is such a high-range character, right? The Eagle Eye comes through and suddenly Telana's is hitting you from so far away. There's no way to initiate on her. So that is definitely something that the Swedish side is utilizing here.
Yeah, Loda's been having a great time on that character. You can see him responsible for an ultimate there as he continues to find kill after kill. And he'll be, oh my god, with a double here. Just looking for this final push on the main. And I think it may very well be coming through as Moman, Kotka and Kenny are the only players here to defend.
Kenny, Kotka, and Moman are there to defend, and Swedish side are not going to give up right now. Or the French side, my apologies, as they lose a member. Molman is going to be the next to follow. Kataga is the only member surviving for the French. Will he be able to push back the Swedish side? Will he be able to stop this from happening? As it's not going to happen. The ace, as well as the base push, is going to come through from the Swedish side as they claim game 1 of this best of 3 series.
No, it is a BO3, it isn't over yet. And we know that we brushed on the fact that the French team hasn't played together much, so it is entirely possible we now see them maybe take a deep breath, get in the Zen zone, and work together as a unit. And maybe this is kind of a 3-part anime storyline for the French team, right? It's part 1, and they're at the bottom. It's also the hero's journey, right? Part 1, they're at the bottom of their